Hey everybody, happy Mermaid Monday and happy Easter for those of you who celebrate, or if you don't celebrate, I hope you at least got a day off and got to eat some yummy food, some chocolate, and spend some time with your family. Today on my show, we are talking about one of my iconic tales. One of the feedback things that I've been getting from a lot of my fans is that they want to know all the stories behind my tales. So we've already done the story on my very first fabric tale and my very first time swimming in a mermaid tale and all that kind of fun stuff. So today I thought we would talk about the very iconic she creature tale. Before we get into that, please like and subscribe if you are enjoying this video. Leave me a comment, tell me what mermaid tale of my collection that you want to hear about next, or if there's other videos you want to hear about, leave me a comment. Don't forget to click the bell if you want to get notified when I post new videos. Hey, don't want to wait for the new videos? You can join me on patreon.com/Raina Mermaid, where you can get early access to videos, also special exclusive videos, tons of content, program planning materials that you can use in mermaid businesses and mermaid swim schools. You can get cheaper versions of my books. You can also get tons of really cool extra merchandise with the different tiers. So check it out, because for as little as $2 a month, you can help me make my videos and get something cool in return. So yes, today we're talking about the she creature, and if you aren't sure what she creature is, it's actually a film from the early 2000s. It's a B horror film, which means it's got some good parts, but a lot of it is cheesy and kind of cringe-worthy. Raven, my artist, was very inspired by the mermaid in this film. She actually had a double tail, and there were these really cool scenes with her in a tank. And about halfway through the film, she turns into a gremlin creature. So I kind of wasn't sold on that, but for the mermaid scenes, it was really cool. And she was like this vicious mermaid, but also like really sexy and alluring, and she helped this other female character like bring out her sexiness and stuff, and then she was like really blah, blah, blah. Like it was so cool. And she had double fins, and they were shaped just like this. So Raven made this inspired by it, which is really cool. This tale is super duper old. The way that I became in possession of this tale is that it actually used to look different. I think it was painted brown and white and was used for photo shoots, which was really cool. And then in 2015, my company won a $10,000 business grant. We won this huge contest and this big award for having one of the best companies in Canada, and it came with a $10,000 check. We have a giant check on our wall. It's so cool. We got to have this big award ceremony, and we had like a mermaid cake, and all these people like flew down, and I got letters in the mail from members of parliament congratulating us. We got in the news. It was like super amazing. And back then, everybody was really stretching it with really crappy tales, and we were trying so hard to push our mermaid business, but it was so hard to get tales. And in 2015, when we got the $10,000 check, the US dollar was practically on par with the Canadian dollar, which means that they were the same amount of value, which right now they're not. Right now, it's a 30-cent difference. So for every dollar for US, it's like $1.30 Canadian. So that adds up when we're trying to buy tails, because we're paying an extra 30 cents per every dollar, plus we're paying import fees, plus we're paying shipping fees. It sucks. Like something that's like $1,000 American ends up being $2,000 Canadian by the time we got it. But we lucked out. Back when we won this $10,000 grant, we were able to get 3 tails for us, buy a bunch of fin fun tails so we could start a swim school, and get a bunch of tops that we needed for our company. Like we really stretched that $10,000. We made it last. We bought all this gear, and then we used it. We rolled it back into the company for like all of these legal expenses, to have our lawyer make up release forms and liability waivers and then contracts and stuff. It was really great. It helped us so much. And one of those purchases was the she creature. So what we did was we contacted Merbellas and gave them measurements and asked them what tails they could sell us within those measurements, and the she creature was one of them. So this tail was already a few years old when we got it, and then we got it in 2015, and now it's 2019. So I'd say this tail is close to 7 or 8 years old. And guys, she looks it. She photographs very beautifully. She looks beautiful in videos, but in real life, she is in hard shape. I sent her away to see if we could get her fixed or parts of her replaced, and it wasn't good. The silicone is so old that nothing Smooth On could suggest worked. So we tried a bunch of chemicals that are used to wake up the silicone, even really expensive chemicals. and they still didn't work. So what that means is that this will not take any new silicone. The only way that we can repair it is with silicone caulking or with Silpoxy. But so much of it needs repairs that it's really difficult to redo the whole thing. So on video and pictures, the paint job really holds up well and looks really nice, but when you get close and you look up closely, the waistline is completely destroyed. Part of that is because it was one of her very first blended waists, so it wasn't as durable as what she makes now because it was like an experimental thing back then. And even though the tail is mostly to my measurements, it wasn't custom and it is a bit short, and it's a bit short on all my team. So what would happen is every time someone wore it, the blended waist would flip down like this, and then as you can see it rip back here. It has ripped so many times and it has so many patch jobs on this waist that the waist is pretty much all a patch job. It's got really, really big fluke pieces. You see that? You can't really see it from there, but it's ripped down the middle. It has a specific hole here, and this created a stress point, and it continually keeps ripping there, and I have to keep painting it. Also, when we bought this tail, it had broken straps inside, and we knew that when we bought it. It does make it really difficult to swim in because it only has a foil monofin in it. So this tail only has a foil monofin in it. Even though it's got this great big giant fluke, the monofin only takes up that much space. And it has broken straps. So you're putting your feet in here and you're trying to swim this thing. It is crazy. So back when we did at the end of 2015, I think it was, or maybe it was the beginning of 2016, I can't remember. But we did a study at the Aquatron, and I have old videos and blog posts that you can check out in my YouTube about it. But the engineering department did a study on how our tails are engineered and how it distributes force on our body and how it allows us to swim, if it makes us faster, slows us down. And we swam in these tails, and we were fitted with accelerometers, which was really cool. And then we had to do all of these tasks, certain types of swimming, and we compared it to a baseline of regular swimming without any fins, regular swimming with fins, regular swimming with monofins, and then swimming with the tails, and we kind of did this comparison. So swimming in this she creature was actually slower than pretty much all of our mermaids swimming with bare feet and no fins. That's how much drag this thing has. And given that, a lot of mermaids find it really difficult to swim in these flukes, even though they're really beautiful. You don't get a lot of push. And mine has that finished foil, but I think some of the more recent ones actually have competitor monofins, so they are stiff all the way through. If I were to commission one of these myself, I would commission it with a competitor monofin so that I could have that push and the stiffness in the fluke, and maybe it would take off some of the stress points too. So I do think there are people out there who own this fluke, and it has a much stronger monofin. This is just, I bought it used, so this is what it had in it, right? It's become a bit of a collector's item because Raven has discontinued this fluke. I'm not sure if she's going to maybe remake it in the future. She's retired it permanently or just temporarily, but I do see where it looks so beautiful in photos, and then people buy these tails and struggle to swim in them and end up selling them. So our whole team kind of really struggled to learn to swim in it. It was a real learning curve, especially because there were no straps in our monofin. You had to be really careful not to kick out of the tail. Because of the strap issue, it's not the kind of tail where we could do a big fin slap, right? Anyway, we took this tail to PEI, home of Anne of Green Gables, and we got some beautiful shots in it there. We got some beautiful shots in it in St. Margaret's Bay. We've used it in the Aquatron Aquarium a few times. It was featured in our documentary because we used it in Florida and got some really beautiful footage of it there. And currently I'm in the process of like meticulously trying to fix all these little broken pieces because it's going to be the tail used in the film that I'm starring in, Welcome Alawa Salan, which is a story of a Syrian refugee who comes to Canada. She's lost all of her family. She's doesn't speak English yet, and she's getting acclimated, and it's real culture shock, and it's like cold out and everything. And she befriends a mermaid, and I am that mermaid. We've been doing all the training for this, all the rehearsals. I'm training the crew on underwater stuff. It's really cool, and it's going to be done in this tail. We really love how this tail looks underwater, and there's only very limited actual underwater shots in the film, so I can definitely tough it out, put some weights in it, and it's gonna look really good. It doesn't matter that there's drag for a project like this because I'm gonna be slow moving anyway. I'm not doing a bunch of flips and tricks. It's really just, we want it to look really beautiful. So I really love this tail. It's just, it is a bit tricky because it's a bit, the measurements aren't 100%. The fluke is a bit of a challenge. The monofin, we've tried to fix it a few times and that's a bit of a challenge. But you can't argue with how freaking beautiful it looks, huh? I just sent this to my friend Amanda, and she's the one who tried to see if she could make the fixes for it. And even she said, like, it looks so good on camera. And I said, hey, I don't even Photoshop it. Even though in real life it's really worn down, it just photographs so stunningly, especially when it's out in the sun. So it holds a special place for me. I've just been really kind of protective of it, and nobody's been using it for gigs or anything anymore because it's just not gonna last much longer. We're just saving it for special projects. So it's like semi-retired, right? I put Mermaid Iona in it once when she came here to visit way back in 2015, which was pretty cool. Measurements wise, even though it's a bit short on me, it's got bigger hips, and I find it so comfortable when I weigh less, because my weight tends to fluctuate a lot because of my hormone medication. So when I'm a little skinnier, it is a bit baggier on me, but then I can actually just wear tights and put it on, and it's really comfortable. It does have neoprene on the inside, so it is a hybrid tail actually because it's got the neoprene inside. But I don't know, I just have a special place in my heart for it, and it's got like a really pretty dorsal fin. I love these shorter dorsal fins because you can sit on them without breaking them, although this one is pretty broken from being put in luggage so many times. I'm considering like repainting this myself by hand, just the parts that need to be fixed. I'm trying to fix up things like the waistline, like you can see there, trying to fix up the fluke, and I might take it to Sacramento for the California Mermaid Convention. I just feel like she needs like one last hurrah where everybody gets to appreciate her before she gets like semi-retired. I think it's going to be really cool for the promo pictures for the video as well. I am now on IMDb, by the way, which is super cool. And actually, it's not even now. It turns out I have been on it since I did the Heather Rankin Titanically music video, and I didn't know. And then the documentary got approved on IMDb. So Sean and I went and claimed our profiles, which was so cool. And so I'm on there, Stephanie Raina Norman. Stephanie's my first name, if you didn't know. Raina's my middle. Ooh, I know. I'm breaking the fourth wall here. And the picture for our documentary is me and the She Creature. That is our movie poster, which is really cool. And I recently had all this viral media coverage and in a bunch of magazines and stuff, and it was all the She Creature, which was just really nice. Every time I post a picture in this tail, it's like the mermaid community collectively thinks it's a new tail, even though we've owned it since 2015. People are like, oh my god, you got a new tail, it's so beautiful. But depending on the light, it sometimes photographs really bright gold, or sometimes it like looks really washed out and looks white, so people think I have a white tail, which is kind of funny. I'm a little self-conscious about using it for the film, simply because it's so short in the waist that I'm gonna have some mermaid muffin top going on, so I have to kind of figure out how I want to handle that, if I want to do a gap wrap, a belt or something, but we'll figure it out. So anyway, that is my She Creature. Is it one of your favorite tails? It seems to be a lot of people's favorite tail that I own. You would not believe how many people try to buy it from me, even though it's in such terrible shape, but I'm not going to sell it. I love it. When it's finally retired, I want to put it in the glass and have it as a beautiful art piece on the wall. All of Raven's tails are art pieces. I don't see them as costumes. I see them as art pieces, so I don't really like letting them go. And if I've sold any in the past or given any away, they've been to people that I really trust who I know are going to appreciate them. So yeah, anyway, that's my She Creature. Let me know out of my other tails, what do you want to hear about, or if there's other tails in my company that you've seen that you want to know the stories behind, we can talk about those too. I'll bring the girls in, we'll interview them. We've got lots of really cool content coming up soon, so please keep an eye out. We're getting into our busy season, so stuff is getting so crazy, and of course I'm going to be really wrapped up for the next month or so with filming for Welcome Alawa Salon. I'm really excited, and hopefully you will get to see it online. As for our documentary, everybody's asking me about it. Right now it's doing the Film Fest circuit. It's going to be in Montreal, I believe, over the summer. So I will be putting some information out there, so if people want to go see it in theater, you can go see it. It's just so cool that it's still going around in theaters. And once it's available to stream online, I will let you know. So yeah, join me on patreon.com/RainaMermaid. You can also join my super awesome, fantastic fan group. It's on Facebook. It's called Raina the Mermaid Sea Fans. I'd love to see you there. All of my social media is at HFXMermaid. You can join me in conversation on there. Let me know what you want to see. Talk to you soon, and best fishes!